Hey there, Rydall here, and we're talking today why all of your planning will never be enough. And I like to say, plan your life as if you're doing all the work, but then live your life as if God is. Now, what does this really mean? I talk a lot about how important planning is, and maybe you've even just recently watched a video about how much you need to plan and put your plan on your calendar and have a vision and have goals and get stuff done, and that's absolutely true. And it sounds almost contradictory or ironic, and a lot of times truth does seem to contradict itself because it's operating on different levels. Your planning and your goals and putting it on your calendar, that's all about being in the world. It's all about mastering the world, right? And it's necessary because you need structures in this world. Because when you have a goal, if it's a real goal, it forces you to grow. When you have a real goal based on your vision and you have a plan to achieve it, it will pull more out of you. It will activate more of your potential. So you must have goals that stretch you. You must have a vision that inspires you. And you must have a plan and a structure so you actually do it and you get things done and it holds you on track so that you don't just fall off, so that you don't have a pressure cooker with a bunch of leaks in it. So all of that's vital. But all of that planning isn't enough. It's certainly not enough to live a truly fulfilled life, and it's certainly not enough to live the deeper purpose for why you're here. Because the divine idea that's trying to unfold as you is bigger than you right now. It's more than you right now. If you were a caterpillar and all you were relying on was an awesome vision and goal and plan to become what? The best caterpillar. You would be managing or creating a plan to have the best caterpillar body, the best caterpillar house, the best caterpillar relationship, make the most money of any caterpillar, be the most brilliant caterpillar, and that's a great start, right? And yet, if you were fixated on that, if you were attached to that, if that was all you had and you used all your human or caterpillar effort to achieve that, you would ultimately or potentially fail to achieve your destiny, because the caterpillar is just one stage of its potential. Ultimately, it has to die to its caterpillarness and become a butterfly. It has to stop living on the ground and start living in the trees. And so all those plans would be a profound limitation. But you need the plans to get going. You need the plans to keep growing. But when you have a plan, but then you open up to the revelation, to the insight, to the guidance, to the transformational journey, now you're open to an idea bigger than you. Now you're open to a mission bigger than mere survival or personal aggrandizement or acquisition or acquisitiveness. Now you're open to a real mission and a real vision that is always beyond your imagination. And yet, if all you do is try to live without a plan, to go with the flow, to just let revelation show you the way, you're not going to have the structure that allows you to grow, to develop the character and the capacity to hold that bigger energy when it comes. Do you see why you must have both? Do you see why the ancient statement, how to be in the world but not of it, is the critical recipe? You have to be in the world. You have to have a plan. But you ultimately have to be unattached, because life has infinite organizing power. That means there's not one or two or even a million ways for you to achieve what you're really here for. There's infinite. And you, in all of your human imagination and experience, can't possibly know the best way all the time, and maybe not even any of the time. But you gotta get going, right? Like a GPS, you gotta put the directions in there, but you don't necessarily know the best route there. It begins to unfold that. But if you don't get driving, if you don't even just start moving because you have a general sense of where you're going, the GPS isn't gonna give you the next direction. So you need to have a plan, you need to have a goal, but then you need to live your life as if something bigger is running the show. There are 4 basic growth stages of spiritual growth and evolution. The first stage is life's happening to me. You think you're a victim and you're struggling and coping and surviving. But then you learn that you can take agency and control and have a plan and have a vision and have a goal, and that now you're happening to life. That's where law of attraction and manifestation and success strategies live. But that's just the beginning. At a certain point, you're stuck and limited by your history and your imagination and your ego. Then you have to surrender control. You must surrender victimhood to step into stage 2, but you must surrender control. Surrender your idea, your agenda, not my will, but thy will, in order to move into stage 3, where now life is happening through you. That's where emergence lives. That's where mission lives. That's where purpose and vision lives. And as you let life take over, as you realize humbly, I of myself know nothing. I of myself am not doing the work. I'm a branch on the tree of life. Now something more starts to move through you. Something bigger starts to live you. And it turns you from a caterpillar to a butterfly. It turns you from an acorn to an oak tree. And then finally, as that takes you over, eventually you dissolve any sense of separation and attachment. And now the ultimate plan, the divine plan, is running you, and you move into stage 4, where it is life happening as you. So make your plans, have your goals, but every day as you start the day, set the intention. More than I want to change or fix or control or manipulate anything, I want to know the truth that makes me free. I want to be an instrument of my true destiny. And then be in that space for a moment and see what begins to bubble up. Be awake and aware to God's marching orders every day. And you'll not only live a life of constant growth and never-ending expansion, but you'll live a life of spontaneity, adventure, and aliveness. In other words, you'll live a life that's worth living. All the goals and the plans create structures, but what makes life worth living is the space in the middle. If you have sound, only notes with nothing between it, you have noise. It's the space between the notes that makes the music. So plan your life as if you're doing all the work, but then live your life as if something much bigger is. Practice it daily and watch the magic and the miracles that emerge. I hope this has served you and inspired you and motivated you. And until next time, live authentically, love unconditionally, and follow your destiny.